Jamaica is a very unique story, still being written. In this video, we'll explore the coming together of a rebellion, an African royal, and Obeah, as told by oral accounts, a king from Ghana, and how his fierce spirit sparked a slave revolt that rocked this little island in the 1700s. At the time, Jamaica was under the British rule, and slavery bloodied the land. As usual, get a bush tea, hold a seat, and travel with us to the days of the colonial rule and the Africans who dared to fight. Today we'll speak about one of Jamaica's unofficial heroes named Tacky. His name was originally spelled Tayki, and he inspired the most significant slave rebellion in the West Indies between the 1733 slaves insurrection on St. John and the 1791 Haitian Revolution. For the purpose of this video, we'll just call him Tacky, as that's what Jamaicans know him as. Tacky was originally from Ghana, and he may have ruled over a group of Fantes before he became a slave himself and was shipped to Jamaica. He may have been the ruler of a settlement in Comenda in the central region of Ghana, according to some research. It is said that he was a wealthy merchant and a slave trader himself until he was captured during the wars and sold off into slavery when his state was defeated. Just note that the Gold Coast, what we call Ghana today, was one of the places in West Africa to which Europeans will go to procure people to take them back to the West Indies to enslave them on plantations. One of the biggest ethnic groups there was the Akan, in which there were subgroups such as the Ashanti and the Fante. And yes, Africans played a big part in the slave trade as it relates to capturing and selling other Africans to Europeans, sadly, and we will explore that in another video. Hence, while Tacky himself was someone who sold slaves. Now, after Tacky was captured and sold to slavery, and he came to Jamaica, there are no reports that indicate the age that he actually came here, but it is assumed that he was an adult. Tacky was said to speak the English language well. He ended up on the frontier estate in St. Mary, Jamaica, where he distinguished himself. He had an astute mind and an impressive demeanor, which made him move up the ranks to driver and then overseer, a position of great authority. He could make unilateral decisions and had a great influence over the enslaved Akan people. But Tacky didn't plan to stay in slavery and have his people enslaved forever. No, sir. He did have a plan, a rebellion in mind, and it would shock many. We are talking about what is known as the largest slave rebellion in the British West Indies until the Baptist War of 1831. And it is known as Tacky's War or Tacky's Revolt. Now let's get into the details of Tacky's War and our revolt. What did happen? So it is said that Tacky and his lieutenants planned to take over Jamaica from the British and to create a separate black country. The uprising was inspired by the successful resistance of free black people in Jamaica, such as the Asante Queen, Nanny, and the Jamaican Maroons during the First Maroon War of the 1730s. The British, they never seen him coming. He was a fierce warrior, and Tacky was ready to fight. In plan and in wait until the day finally came. It was Easter Monday, April the 7th, 1760. Tacky himself did already have extensive military training from being a warlord. His followers began the revolt and easily took the frontier and Trinity plantations, while killing some of their white overseers who worked there. Bolstered by their easy success, they made their way to the storeroom at Fort Haldane and then killed the storekeeper. Tacky and his men got nearly 4 barrels of gunpowder and 40 firearms with shot. before marching on to overrun the plantations at Haywood Hall and Esher. By dawn, hundreds of other now formerly enslaved Africans had joined Tacky and him followers. Tacky freed them, and them joined him. At Ballar's Valley, the self-liberated Africans stopped to rejoice in their success. One person from Asia decided to slip away and sound the alarm. Obeah man, which we call Caribbean witch doctors, quickly circulated around the camp, dispensing a power that they claim will protect the men from injury in battle, and loudly proclaimed that an Obeah man could not be killed. Confidence was high. They were ready for more and more war. On April 9th, Lieutenant Governor Sir Henry Moore dispatched a detachment of the 74th Regiment, compromising between 70 and 80 mountain militia from Spanish Town to St. Mary Parish, Jamaica. These militia soldiers were joined by Maroons from Moortown, Charlestown, and Scots Hall, who were bounded by treaty and forced to suppress such rebellions. Now, let's just pause a little bit. Now you see why some Jamaicans think that the Maroons betrayed us, right? Though they were bound by treaty to do so. What's your thoughts about this? Tell us in the comments now. Now, Tacky's militia burnt houses at Downs Cove in coastal St. Mary. Them that burn down the plantation, them a free the slaves and knock off people while they were having, making their own sacrifices because they also lost soldiers. On April 12, a detachment of the Jamaica militia led by Captain Rigby and Lieutenant Forsyth arrived at Downs Cove, where they were met by Charlestown Maroons, who were still called Crawfordstown Maroons by the colonial writers, led by Swiggle and a contingent of black soldiers. Tacky's men attacked Forsyth and killed a number of Matilda soldiers, losing only 3 people in the process. Tacky himself was reportedly wounded in the assault. Now that he's wounded and he lost 3 people, you think he's gonna stop or continue? Now let's continue so that you can know. What happened is that Captain Williams Hind led his black regiment and Swiggle the Charlestown Maroons in pursuit of Tacky through the forested mountains of the interior and in a rocky gully between 2 steep hills, defeated Tacky's men in a skirmish and captured a few of Tacky's soldiers. So them in the hills and them a fight and them a squirm and them end up defeat Tacky men and capture some soldier them. A day later, on April 13th, the Maroons continued their pursuit of Tacky's men through the woods near Friendship Estate. When the Jamaica militia learned of the Obeah man's boast of not being able to be killed, an Obeah man was captured, killed, and hung with his mask. Ornaments of teeth and bone and feather trimmings at a prominent place, visible from the encampment of the self-liberated Africans. So them did want to prove, say, yo, Obeah man can dead, so them kill them and string them up and show them. This sound like a movie, not true? No, many of them confidence they get shaken, so some of them return to their plantations. Tacky, though, reportedly reluctantly agreed to fight on with about 25 other men. On April 14, other Maroon parties from Scots Hall and Moortown joined the Charlestown Maroons, and led by Swiggle, they engaged Tacky's men in a battle in Rocky Valley and routed them, defeating them and killing a number of the men. Tacky and the remainder of his men went running through the woods, being chased by the Maroons and their legendary marksman Davy. While running at full speed, Davy shot Tacky and cut off his head as evidence of his feat, for which he would be richly rewarded. Tacky's head was later displayed on a pole in Spanish Town, until a follower took it down in the middle of the night. The rest of Tacky's men were found in a cave near Tacky Fall, and they had committed suicide rather than going back to slavery. What a story. And we're not done yet, One thing so far. Now, Tacky Falls, this bring a whole new meaning to the Tacky Falls, something that you definitely need to visit. So you think that was the end of the uprising? Tacky dead? No, no. Them show him head in a Spanish town. It shake people, but they were not to be defeated. It seems it was not the end of the uprising. Flare-ups reportedly continued up to October. So in several parts of the island, they probably were down but not defeated. They got up and they fought until about 1761. So it's stated that about 60 British died in the rioting, while the deaths among the enslaved people were in the hundreds. Hundreds more were executed, while approximately 300 were exiled to Honduras to cut logwood. This uprising, we call it today Tacky War or Tacky's Revolt, or the 1760 Easter Rebellion. Tacky is regarded as a legend, a folk hero, who people in many quarters believe should ascend to the status of national hero for his daring exploits against the colonizers. What do you think? Should Tacky be a national hero of Jamaica? Tell us in the comments. Now that's it for now. We hope you enjoyed this one. Pretty exciting stuff. And we have so much more coming your way. Do remember to like, comment, subscribe. Help us out with the algorithm and getting more from YouTube so that we can make more for you. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, stay blessed. And in the spirit of our ancestors, dare to do something that will change your life and probably the lives of many others. For the better, of course. Blessings, always.